great conversation. And here we go again. Let's get started. Today's movie is Think Like a Man. That's right, one great movie. It is a little old, but still very, very good. So let's get into it. Act 1. We first get a chance to see the character building and get a chance. I love the way the movie actually plays out each character and gives you subtitles about who they are. It's so funny. The player, the mama's boy, the happily divorced and happily married. So it's pretty cool. We go through that in the first act. It's funny in a sense, but it's real life. So it's good that they have like Kevin Hart doing his comical relief to kind of tell the stories, but it's easy to see yourself or your friends or to know somebody in this cast because they told the story in a way that so many different angles, but the same common concept, which was the book Act Like a Lady and Think Like a Man, written by Steve Harvey, and he did have cameos in the movie. So Act 1 really kind of just introduced us to each character. Act 2. Now we start to get into a place where we're watching each of the couples, in a sense, try their best to defend themselves. I felt like the men were trying to defend themselves, the women were trying to defend themselves with this piece of literature. So instead of it being a piece to help them better themselves or a man's perspective in how a lady should conduct herself when it comes to a man, it turned into this full-on like brawl with the with the couples, really the men against the women, trying to figure out who's gonna get there first, who's gonna make the person love me, and who's gonna, it sounds crazy, but honestly the story was really amazing to me. I'm so excited to have my guest on today because I actually love the movie, but from a man's perspective, he didn't really like it as much as I did. So it's going to be exciting to see the thoughts that he has about it. In a sense, it told a story in the battle of the sexes. I feel it's a modern day battle of the sexes. Same stories we all go through, and in the end, you probably should just follow your own heart. Who knows? Watch it. It's a good movie. And in the end, they all just went back to their prospective couples and their mates and loved them, even the happily divorced. So I think in the movie they kind of just walked us through how, trying too hard to make your mate be the way you want them to be could probably take you into a whirlwind of mess. And you most likely lose them. The men actually at some point, each of them lost their mate except the happily married man. So the story in itself just took us in a little circle, and so it was really good. It was worth the watch. So watch Think Like a Man. All right, guys, let's go beyond the script. How did I find God in this movie? I really honestly feel that God is always giving us experiences to teach us the right and the wrong way for us. I feel like each of them in their own ways had something about them. One character you feel like you're, yeah, they have a point, but then you see the verses, they have the powerful woman versus the man with no dream. Each of them had a point. You know what I mean? It's just they both were prospectively strong in themselves. But I think God is always trying to show us that you can be yourself, but at some point, you're going to need some kind of relationship and connection. And how do we build relationships? How can we, coexist in a sense? there's going to be some compromise. There's going to be some things that you're going to have to say, well, no, it's not all about me. I can't be selfish if you choose to have relationships. And it's very, very difficult. You can't do everything by yourself. And so, and I found God with teaching each of them. It was amazing to me how he taught each of them about, no matter how hard you're trying to stand on your own and be yourself and fight for your point, you still need this entity, and that's why you're fighting so hard for it. That's why you're lying, you're doing everything you can to fight for it. But in the end, God is telling you, you can be this, you can be that, it's fine, it's okay to stand in yourself, to stand and be in yourself, and it's fine. You're going to have situations, but it's funny to me that God will always have to take us through some kind of roller coaster for us to notice. What I saw is that it took the men going through the argument of, oh, he's so wrong. Why did he tell them that? That's cheating. You shouldn't tell nobody that. You shouldn't tell our women that. They had to go and fight to be right. But through the fight, they realized, wait, we love these women. Wait, that's right. Wait, I found out something about myself. And that's all that he was trying to do in the beginning. It was so funny to me. As my husband said, it was funny how God is always with us and we don't realize he's there. The happily married man always had a small little comment in all of their conversations that left a nugget to let them know, it's fine, you're okay. In one scene, he was saying, I don't leave because I have to leave. I don't cook because I have to cook. I cook because I want to cook. It's my night. I like cooking for my wife. Small nugget. That's how God is. He'll always sit on your shoulder, tell you a little here, tell you a little there, just to walk you through. Now they still had to go through the experience to learn. What I noticed a lot was when the man who was the player finally realized that he truly loved this woman, it took the experience for him to see that. It took really losing somebody who truly cared about him to experience, whoa, wow, this is a real thing. So I found God in the sense that he's always with us. All of these crazy experiences that we go through, we can learn from everything. There is no wrong in God. So I would say, all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. And now it is time for our peer thoughts. I'm so excited about this conversation. This is my lovely husband. I'm so excited that he's here today. And his name is Deshaun Gilmore. We're going to be discussing the men point of view and the woman point of view of this movie and how did he find God in this film. So let's go. So welcome so much, Deshaun Gilmore, for being here. I'm excited about this conversation. And like I told him, if you guys don't know, this is my husband. I told him a while ago that I kind of wanted to do this story because we feel differently about this movie. We had already seen the movie, which is, of course, Think Like a Man. And we think differently about the movie. So I thought it would be very, very good for us to have this conversation and how we found God, in it. So without further ado, I want to know, what are your thoughts seeing it? I know you watched it before, but then seeing it again after we came up with the concept of how can I find God, what things did, stuck out to you the second time?
Well, the second time, because when I watched it the first time, I didn't watch it and think of the concept of which the show is. I watched it and thought like a man.
Right.
And reacted like a man. Because if you watch the movie, when a lot,
So you were like the characters.
Like the characters. When they found out the book, like, yeah, he can't tell us.
Hater.
He a hater. Exactly. He a hater. He giving it up. You feel me? And that ain't me. You know what I mean? And how they gonna let them do that to me?
Right.
So more, that's how I looked at it at first. But when I watched it, thinking of the concept of your show, I watched each character pretty much fall into listening to what someone else said about what they needed to do about their life.
Right.
So in how I found God in watching this movie, Think Like a Man, it reminded me that I needed to keep God first and who I go to
right.
for the things, to help me
right.
find out what I want in life.
Right.
Because, you can ask other people, and it's not bad to get advice and to take tidbits from people and books, like in the movie, self-help books and such, but you still got to know you. Because all of those things from people are from their experiences.
Right.
Or in books, sometimes experiences shared still other people's
right.
experiences. So even if it's a bad experience, doesn't mean that same path is going to be bad for you.
Right.
And even if it's a good experience, doesn't mean you're going to have the same good experience.
Right.
Because somebody else says it.
And it's just like, that's kind of like what Kevin was doing. He was trying to like bestow his dislike of marriage on his friends.
Exactly.
That's so true.
And he kept doing that
from his experience.
But from his experience, it made them fall into the, ways to, how could I put it? It made them want to find ways to get these girls, anyway.
Right.
It made me want to get with the girl anyway, but then when getting with the girl, and then they find out with the book and the standards and the rules that's put on there, it puts you in a position. It put all the guys in a position to really, like they did, kind of defend what was going on.
Yeah.
So they had to defend that. They were defending themselves from their friend already, because our friends are going to do that sometimes, But they were defending themselves from their friends about how they deal with women, each one of them.
Right.
But then when they realized that the way that they deal with women was being pretty much pushed to the side so women could deal with them the way that they wanted to.
Exactly.
They got kind of,
I
gotta get defensive, So that's like reading the book and the thought of someone having a book saying, act like a lady, but think like a man. He's like, wait a minute.
Right.
You can't tell me, he can't tell them, how I think. So, and thinking about that with finding God in it though, is also, people can't tell you really how to think. So when it comes to you thinking about your goals and the things that you want in life and setting standards and such, we got to remember to go to God first. We can get all these tidbits from in the world, from other people and all that, but we can't fall into that trap of only flowing with what man say. Because we have to listen to God. We have to take time to pray. When we pray, we got to take time to listen so that we can get the guidance that we need, instead of just going by what the world is saying to do and how the world says things, how we should react to certain situations like relationships and things like that. But altogether, I just think we should just focus on who we are, talk to God, and wait for Him to give us the answers we need. So
because in the end, like, they did all of that, and then it just ended up a full circle. The guy that they're listening to, their little friend is listening to, ended up going back to his wife anyway. And it's just like, we done did all this, it went on all around circle. At the end of the day, they all had their own personal, feelings about each and every, they really didn't have to listen to anybody. Their relationships were working for them. And then it got messed up when they were,
And they all realized that at the end, like, it doesn't matter what they're saying, like, certain standards they have to be. What are your standards? What do you want in life? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, the character that Taraji Henson plays, it's not about the man making the money. How do people make you feel? You know what I mean? So you being a powerful woman, and in the book, Steve Harvey says that you got to let a man profess his love, and and even if you make all of the money, you still got to let him feel like he in charge. You know what I mean? And feelings get tied into that, and then your standards are sitting there, and you feel a certain way. Like you feel like you gotta hold on to that standard and when that's not what's making you happy. That's not what's making you happy. And even in some of the situations, even though the women were reading the book and trying to get something from the men,
right.
it was also opposite too. The men were learning things because of this.
Yes.
For instance, the character that what's her name, Regina Hall, she plays.
Yes.
She has
The mommy. Yes.
the
son.
the son, the guy that's the mama's boy.
Mama's boy. Yes.
That's what he is.
Yes,
So
yes.
the mama's boy, and her doing, trying to figure out her. She really didn't know all this, but then when she figured it out, it wasn't more of her trying to do things to make him change. Because once they realized it, he actually learned that he needed to be
right. He didn't realize that it was a thing.
He didn't realize that it was a thing.
Yeah.
So so little tidbits do help here and there, but you can't make your standards change somebody else.
Right.
You gotta allow them to be who they are.
Exactly.
And then when they be who they are and you express yourself in those situations, they can see those things and they can make the choice of who they want, what they want to do.
That's really cool. I'm so glad that you pulled that out because that's true. Regina Hall's character really was the one that she pretty much accepted him the way he was. It was more of along the lines, can I deal with this? Am I willing to deal with this? And then honestly, she was like willing to deal with it even after she, figured it out, but it was when he started to lie.
Right.
Like, she was like, I'm accepting you the way you are, but now you're lying about it. So now that's what became the issue.
Exactly. And he's only lying because he was listening to his
felt like
friends.
he felt like he had to be something more because of what they were telling him. And that's so true.
All of them, even though with the whole men versus women thing, act like they think like a man in their little battle.
Right.
At the end of the day, they were all going through something in their group, their personal group, as well as what they were going through with the ladies about listening to others.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to separate yourself from those people. Take your time, like I said earlier, and pray and listen to God.
Right.
Because He's going to give you the true direction you need. And sometimes what you think you need isn't what you need.
Right.
You may need these other type of people to open your eyes to things and be more accepting to different types of people in life and situations, to where you can be more joyful and positive in different areas and around different people. Just because you're not normally in that's not your comfort zone doesn't mean you gotta be uncomfortable with how this person is. You can still love a person. You can still friend a person. You can communicate with people outside of who you expect them to be. Just be you.
Just be yourself.
If the communication and the connection is there, then it's there.
Yeah. We do realize, like, if it went our way, that there probably wouldn't be a whole script, but but that's so true. And I also wanted to point out too, is Gabrielle Union's character was completely fine with her relationship, and then this thing kind of sparked something that, like, oh, I'm fine with my relationship, but I'm uncomfortable with certain things. And it probably he wouldn't have been fighting so hard if she had got this tidbit and started following the rules one by one by one. And they would have never started lying, and they would have never, because the one thing that their relationship had was security. They were fine with each other. After 9 years of a relationship, if you haven't seen the movie, please watch the movie. But after 9 years of a relationship, they were comfortable with each other. They love each other. It is what it is. But now we've grown. I'm uncomfortable, and instead of talking to their partner, talking to him about the honesty, like, I know this was fun in college, but now we've grown and it's not as fun for me anymore. I'm just telling the truth. We're trying to do all of these things that,
push people into what you want.
Yeah, and as opposed to you just, kind of dealing with your inner, whatever God is telling you for you right now. You love you love this person. This is what I want for right now. Let's cut out all of the outside distractions. But you got to be able to communicate with each other to get your answer, because that might be where you get your answer. If you pray and communicate with each other, the answer might come in that communication. But listening to everybody else's thoughts about and their reasons and their experiences makes you get to those points where you start to lie, or you try to do things in a sneaky way, where you're trying to make somebody do something without actually telling them that's what you're doing. Right.
You know, and that's just bad communication.
Right.
And your answer could have been right there.
Right.
Also, in that relationship, it's almost like the relationship I mentioned earlier. He also did learn something. They all learned something on the other side.
Exactly.
But more of what she was doing, you know, was minimal. It did because she had a relationship that they were comfortable with. It was minimal, and if she tried to put it out there, she could have did it a better way. But at the same time, those are the people. Not only when you go to God, the people that are closest to you are the people that should be pushing you into your dreams or your goals and all that.
And it's what she did.
And it's what she did.
True.
It's still, she gave him a little push and a little nudge because they did have a great relationship. I thought they did have a great relationship. It was kind of funny that because how he was.
Yeah.
You know.
And did you notice too, like when she was, I could tell that she loved him. She loved the stuff that, you know, it wasn't just, you know, a thing like, oh, he getting on my nerves. She really loved him.
Yes.
And I saw that when she was talking to her coworker and she talked about fertile baggins. Do you remember that part? And she was like, you know, like fertile baggins, you know, because that was their thing.
Right.
And she was like, the girl didn't know what she was talking about. She was like, girl, what are you talking about? And she was like, oh yeah, you're right. It's totally stupid. But it wasn't stupid. It was important to you. You liked it, you know?
Exactly.
And in that little small smidget, we saw how it's easy for us to be easily deterred and by just and influenced by just what our friends' opinions are.
Right.
Just because she didn't know what it was, it made her just, you know, kind of cower down on something that she thought was good. It was a good explanation for the point right then.
Right.
You know? And so I was like, yeah, that's very true. Super true.
Yeah, but altogether it is a good message in the movie. And that, like I said, when I went to look for God in it, that was the message I got from it. Was just, once again, just to make sure that I focus on Him first.
Right.
Loving the people around me and, you know, be willing to communicate with some things, but really it's up to me though.
Yeah, seek ye first.
It's me. It's what I want and what I need in my life and what makes me happy.
Yes.
You know, not what other people tells me should make you happy.
Right. I guess we'll go with seek ye first the kingdom of God and all His righteousness, and everything else will be added.
Yes.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too. And that's all, folks. Thank you so much for watching and being with us today. Remember to follow Serena Gilmore at Serena Gilmore, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere, everywhere. Follow me. Let me know what kind of movies you like. Let me know how you found God in your movies. That's all we're trying to do is find Him in everyday life. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.
I'd like to tell you a story about the love I have inside of me. It's not where it should be, but it sure ain't where it used to be. I strive to be patient, I strive to be kind, not jealous of anything, no boasting on the mind, not conceited in any way.
Quiet on the set. 3, 2, 1, action. 3, 2, 1. I thought it was 3, 2, 1.
Right, it was, but I forgot what I was going to say.
You're introducing the movie. Right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, action.
Today's movie is Think Like a Man. That's right. Awesome movie. I know.
Be that. And in the end, it really is us. Good one. Hey. I love it.
Sorry.
Watch the movie.
Yes, it's a good movie. Thank you. Thank you so much, Angela. This is awesome.
That was good. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cut.